Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Elevate You podcast, season 2, episode 2. 2 and 2. That means double. I don't even know. But welcome back. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I hope you've had a great week. You're just thriving. We're officially back with me doing episodes that are actually going to be helpful for you guys. Episode 1 was definitely just kind of like a, hey, like, how y'all doing? What's going on? But I'm super excited for this episode. It's going to be amazing. Today, we're going to be talking about dopamine detoxing because your parents were right. It is that dang phone. That's the reason why you're not where you want to be in life. That's the reason why you're feeling addicted. That's why you're feeling like you can't control anything. All the things. Your phone is probably to blame for it. And so this was very heavy on my heart a couple weeks ago because I just felt like, we're diving straight into the episode, by the way. I just felt like I was glued to my phone. Like I was literally just, like, you know the feeling and you're just like aware of it. I was like, I have to do something. Like I have to definitely fix something because this is bad. So that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to basically give you guys a whole dopamine detox 101, how to do it, the steps to do it, why you should do it, because there's so much research about being addicted to your phone. And it's actually kind of scary. I'm not going to lie. Like I was having TikTok videos pop up about like, oh, if you keep going down this path of being on your phone and being so dependent on your phone, your brain is not going to be able to create dopamine on its own. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is actually serious. I think a lot of times we kind of love to brush over it because we're like, oh, it's just our silly little phone, whatever. But you don't really realize how addicted you actually are to it until you stop using it or you try to stop using it. Because that's essentially what a dopamine detox is in a way, is that you're consciously not going on your phone for certain times of the day so you can actually enjoy the things that should be giving you real dopamine instead of this quick fake dopamine from your phone, from getting notifications, all of these things. I will say I have been trying to dopamine detox, but I don't know, it comes and goes. Like some days are definitely better than others. And I'm glad that I'm doing this episode because I think it'll kind of get me back pushed into the groove of everything to full send it, because I was doing it for maybe about a week and I'm still like conscious of it, but I'm definitely not doing all of the steps, etc. of how to do them. So we're just going to dive right into it. Before I go into the dopamine detox and like of what that entails, I want to go over just a little bit of research findings that people have found in research. LOL. That's honestly very eye-opening, and it makes you realize that your parents were very much so right about the whole, it is that dang phone. I feel like every parent has definitely said that, especially if you are a Gen Z person, because I remember hearing that as a teenager. I was like 16 and they're like, it's that dang phone. And I'm like, no, it's not. And now that I'm an adult, I'm responsible for myself. I don't know. I think God will allow me to do this. He'll kind of change my perspective sometimes to where I'm like on my phone and then I become, it's honestly self-awareness. I think I'll become self-aware, but I'm still staring at my phone and I'm like, what am I even doing with my life? I don't know if you guys ever have those, but I definitely do. I'm not going to go super deep into the studies, but just know that these are key findings from research, okay? So an overview is that studies have shown that continuous and excessive smartphone use can lead to the downregulation of dopamine transmission in the brain, which may impair a person's ability to experience pleasure from natural rewards and create their own dopamine. Now, if you just heard that and you're like, I don't even know what that means. Basically, continuous and excessive use of your smartphone is essentially going to stop the good dopamine that we get from working out, eating a healthy meal, spending time with loved ones. It's going to down-regulate that. So basically means that it's going to suppress that more because you're increasing the quote-unquote fake dopamine. So the more you do that, the more reliant you will be on this and notifications and scrolling and checking your email and, oh, I gotta check this really quick. And then, that thing that you do where you go on Instagram and then you close it out and then you go on TikTok and then you close it out and then you go on Instagram and then you close it out and you go on TikTok. Essentially, as you continue to be addicted to your smartphone, it's going to get worse. That's honestly the most simple way I can say it, is that the more you do it, and the less breaks you take away from it, the worse it's going to get. So the more you use it, the more dependent you're going to be on it, essentially, which is honestly very concerning because I've done phone fasts before. I haven't done one in a while. I honestly probably should because it's different than a dopamine detox. But I think a lot of times we're like, oh, like I don't even really need my phone. Like I would be fine without it. But when you take it away, you don't realize how badly you are dependent on it. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it, but like hardcore drugs or even coffee or even a certain habit that you do that you know is not necessarily the healthiest. But the second you take that away, you're like, I need a cup of coffee. And then you get headaches, you get withdrawals. The phone is the same thing. It's no different than anything else. So we're just going to go over a few key research findings, and then I'm going to get into how to dopamine detox, why, basically just break it down for you guys because it's honestly, is it easy? No, it's a very challenging because you're literally breaking habits and you're consciously breaking the habit of being on your phone when you eat first thing in the morning, like going on your phone during the middle of one of your rest times during your workout. You basically cut that all off and you're like, what do I do with myself? But it's very beneficial. So there's this thing called the dopamine deficit state. And this is kind of what we talked about earlier, but essentially the more you go on your phone, the more your brain is going to adapt to these high levels of dopamine that are being released from being on your phone. For example, TikTok, they're doing studies on this because they've never seen this happen so quickly because you're every 15 seconds to a minute, you're literally getting a new rush of dopamine because it's a new video. And if you don't like it, you swipe on to the next and then you're going to get the rush again. So over time, as you continue to do that, you become less sensitive to it, which in result creates this dopamine deficit state. And they say, literally call it a chronic condition where you need more stimulation in order to feel dopamine. There are some studies that they are doing, and basically the conclusion of these studies is that if you continue to use your phone the way you do and scroll the way you do and be addicted to it the way that you are, eventually, probably give it like 20-25 years, you're literally not going to be able to create real dopamine by yourself. Like you won't be able to experience life and actually feel joy from it without being on your phone, which is honestly terrifying because it's literally turning you into a robot in a way, because you're not going to be able to feel joy, happiness, peace, all of these things that you were born to feel and that you should feel, without being on your phone. So like if you were laughing with your family, think about the joy that you get from that. I'm sorry, this will never recreate the joy that you get from laughing with your family or your loved ones or your friends. This cannot recreate it. Like real dopamine cannot be replicated. This is why I don't want to get into it, because I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, she's a conspiracy theorist. But if you do not use this wisely and you are not approaching it in a conscious way, this can turn into an addiction, and you probably already have an addiction with your phone. You definitely probably do. You just don't realize it. And again, I'm not trying to get all woo woo woo, but your phone can be a demonic stronghold if you let it be. It's kind of how I look at AI, or honestly with anything. If you are abusing something and not using it as a tool and not using it to actually benefit you and help you, you are going to use it for your downfall. Point blank, period. That's just the facts, Jack. Basically, the studies show that in 20 to 25 years, if you continue to use your phone the way that you do, your brain will physically be incapable of creating real dopamine unless you are on your phone, which means you would literally be dependent on this. Not like, oh, there would be no conscious choice. And I know that you can tell that that's already happening, because how many times do you find yourself on Instagram or TikTok or just on your phone in general and you're like, wait, I've been sitting here for an hour. How did I even get here? You're not even conscious of what you're doing. It's a habit and it's an addiction. You go in autopilot and then you find yourself on your phone. And then 2 hours later, once you've scrolled and you're bored all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I was supposed to go meet with this person. What am I doing on the couch? Oh, I was supposed to spend time with the Lord and read my Bible. What am I doing on the couch on my phone? This is something very serious, and this is why I wanted to make an episode about it, because We need to stop being addicted to our phones. Like, I'm being so for real, because it's just not, it's not cute, you know? I will say, now that I have become more conscious of it, now when I go out in public, not only am I more self-aware of myself and being like, why am I even going on my phone? But I'll look around and it's like everywhere you look, heads down, heads down, heads down, heads down. On their phone. We're literally living our own reality in our phones when we literally have reality here. And I know that this is not going to reach everyone. And I pray that people would come to their senses before it's too late. But y'all, you got to get off your phone. Like, you got to set some boundaries with it for real, because yes, it can be a great tool, but it could literally destroy your life in a way. Okay, so back to key research findings. Another key research finding was something called impaired natural reward system. From the title, I guess you can probably conclude what this means. Basically, the summary of it is that when reward pathways are overused with constant digital stimulation, they can be desensitized. Okay, it's like anything. Essentially, what this does is that it makes it harder to find satisfaction in the slower paced real world activities that actually create natural dopamine. So when I say real dopamine versus fake dopamine, I also mean natural dopamine. Real dopamine and natural dopamine are the same. Fake dopamine is what you get from your phone. It's what you get from eating overly processed food. All of that is not natural, because you would not find a McDonald's cheeseburger in the forest. Like, you just wouldn't. That is just highly processed. They literally chemically manufacture different flavors and smells that do not exist in nature. Like, it's literally artificial, but they do it to make it taste good. That's why so many people are addicted to fast food, because it's fake. It's literally fake, but it's so highly processed and scientifically twisted in a way so that you are obsessed with it, because your brain and your tongue are like, we've never tasted this before. And the reason why is because you haven't, because it's not real. But that's a whole other thing. We're not going to get into it. So examples of more natural dopamine would be exercise, going on a walk with no music, reading, having social interactions. I know that's kind of like a foreign thing nowadays, but yeah, that's like how you can get natural dopamine. I'll give some more examples later on. So another key research finding is that they've noticed with continued use and excessive use of being on your phone and being on social media, and honestly, mostly just being on your phone, because if you're on your phone, you're probably on social media. You know, like, no one's on their phone 8 hours a day looking at the news or emailing people, or if you are, get a laptop. Essentially, what this means is that the continued use and abuse, in a way, of being on your phone literally messes with your brain chemistry so much that you do not know how to regulate your emotions the way that you should in an effective manner. So not only can it mess with emotional regulation, but it also messes with attention, which is no shock, because hello, like, I don't know, there are times where I'll catch myself being on my phone for so long and I'm like, I feel like I can't focus on anything throughout the day. And it's like, yeah, girl, because you've been on your phone all day. You're glued to it. You're literally glued to it. And then another example would be decision making. It literally hinders your decision making because, again, like I said earlier, it's essentially making you a robot. You're not going to be able to feel joy. You're not going to be able to literally have a peaceful life because you're going to be so dang anxious all the time. You're not going to be able to advocate for yourself and make decisions for yourself because, oh, what does ChatGPT say? Or can we go deeper? It's not even going to be like, oh, what does this person say? You being on your phone is going to program your mind in a way from the stuff that you intake that the decisions that you make are not even going to be the decisions that you would make. They're not even going to be your decisions. It's the programming in your mind that is going to influence you to make a decision that you would never even make in the first place. It's honestly terrifying if you really think about it. One study found that a higher proportion of social app interactions correlated with lower dopamine synthesis capacity in a specific part of the brain called the putamen. And then before we get into it, I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, she's just talking about science and all these things. Last thing I want to touch on before we go into how to do the dopamine detox, because it honestly, y'all need it. I need it too. It's really quick, I swear. But neuroscientists like Dr. Anna Lempke, I hope I'm saying that right, of Stanford University compared compulsive smartphone use to other addictions, noting that digital media activates the same reward pathways as drugs and alcohol, leading to similar patterns of dependency and withdrawal symptoms. What am I saying? It's the same as being addicted to literally any other thing. Just because this is your phone and, I don't do drugs. Yeah, but you're probably on your phone 8 hours a day. Yeah, let's talk about it. Just because you are not addicted to a substance does not mean that you are not addicted to something. Okay? And this is really just giving, I love y'all, but this is tough love because here's the thing. A lot of you guys, and I know you're watching this podcast because a lot of you guys feel this way. You're frustrated with yourself and you're frustrated with your life because you feel like no matter what you try to do, you can never follow through with it, or you can just never get to where you want to be. It's like, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, I just can't get there. Or some of you, in another case, don't even give yourself the actual grace and time and allow things to happen for you to actually see the fruit of the hard work that you put in. And I'm making this episode because, to keep it a buck, a lot of y'all probably are not living the life that you want to live and doing the things that you want to do because you are addicted to your phone. I'm going to be so real with you guys. Even with myself, I think I would be so much further in where I want to be if I actually had control over this and a conscious mindset around my phone, which is why I started researching dopamine detoxing in the first place, because I was like, I know that I'm not supposed to live my life being dependent and addicted to my phone. I know that I'm not. And yes, I do content creation. I do a lot of stuff on my phone, but that is no excuse for me to have 8 hours of screen time a day. And that's no excuse for you to have 8 hours of screen time a day. I don't care if you work on your phone. Should be no human that is getting 8 hours, honestly, 6+ hours of screen time a day, 5 days out of the week, if not 6 or 7. That is not normal. Yes, it is normalized because it is around us everywhere, but it's not normal, you guys. It's not normal. And the reason why, I'm not saying the main reason, but it definitely is probably a reason. A reason why you are not where you want to be is because you are addicted to your phone and you don't know how to get out of it. But that's why I'm making this episode, because we're going to stop being addicted to our phones and we're actually going to take charge of our life and learn how to use this as a tool and not as a crutch. Okay? So, last things last before I go into the dopamine detox. I just kind of want to say what different symptoms that being addicted to your phone could be, or just even altered dopamine function could show up as. So altered dopamine function could manifest in different ways or as different ways. It's probably a combination of a few of these things, right? So first, anxiety, irritability, and insomnia when you are not using your phone. You feel like you're anxious if you don't have it, or if you can't grab it, or you get irritated. You start snapping at people for no reason if you don't have it, if you don't have your phone. Some people can't even sleep for real. Second sign or ways that it can manifest is reduced motivation or an ability to focus on doing tasks that require a longer focus or a more sustained task. A lot of times you won't even be able to do that because your attention span has become so short from scrolling. Just think about back when you were a child. You could watch a 35-minute or an hour-long YouTube video and it was like a piece of cake. Now, if a 2-minute video shows up on TikTok, you're like, oh, this is so long. This is such a long video. Your attention span is jacked up. It's jacked up. It's so sad. We need to do better, y'all. We really do. Sorry for being jokey. I'm just in a silly mood, but I'm actually being so for real because this is honestly, it's quite concerning. And then last thing is, this one is so good because I just know that it's true. Last manifestation is a diminished capacity for creativity and deep, seamless thought. Not to be that type of person, but when was the last time you allowed yourself to just sit and think? I'm gonna let y'all answer for real. Because one of the things that a lot of people have lost value in is simply giving themselves time and space to just be and to just think and to just let your thoughts pass by. No music, not even instrumentals, no phone, no reading, no nothing. When was the last time you literally went on a walk and you were just pondering life? I guarantee y'all, Some of y'all probably haven't done it for years, or you probably don't even know the last time that you did it. And you may think that's silly or that's unnecessary, but again, a lot of times people are not where they want to be because their mind is so busy that they can't even allow the ideas that are meant to bring them success into their brain because they're always shoving their brain with more stuff. Music, scrolling, emails. And then you say, oh, well, like I think when I drive and I'm listening to music, that's not the same. It's literally not the same. You need to give your body time to rest and simply just be. Another thing that's so dangerous about being on your phone and being addicted to your phone is that your nervous system cannot be regulated when you're scrolling. There's two different types of breathing, essentially. So there's deep belly breathing, which uses your diaphragm, which is how you should be breathing, which is how your nervous system regulates itself. And then there's something called shallow breathing, where you're just breathing with your chest, essentially, and you're not using your diaphragm. Now, not to get all like nerdy wellness on you guys, but when you breathe with your diaphragm, essentially you're stimulating your vagus nerve, which is a nerve that is responsible for regulating your nervous system, for keeping you calm, for keeping you centered. And they've literally done so many studies on this, and you can even notice yourself when you are on your phone, when you are scrolling, you physically cannot have a diaphragmatic form of breathing. Every time you're on your phone, you are shallow breathing, which means that your nervous system is not regulated. So every time that you are on your phone, you are essentially coming out of rest and digest. Now that I've talked about sciencey, researchy things, nervous systems, and dopamine, and all the boring stuff, which actually I don't find boring. I think it's actually quite fascinating, and I think that's why I started the episode with that, because sometimes I feel like we need to be scared a little bit to actually want to make a change, because you don't realize how bad it is until the research says otherwise, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, no, that's horrible. So I've made a little dopamine detox list of rules in a way. You don't have to do all of these, but I think it would be the most beneficial if you did all of these. And they say it takes 21 days to create a habit or break a habit. I think both. Don't quote me on that though. So essentially the goal would be that you would do this for 30 days. Cause throw in a little extra week in there, cause why not, you know? I hope y'all got your pen and papers out. I think I'm gonna post this on the podcast page as well, so y'all can just screenshot it too if you want. But first things first, y'all should be doing this anyway, in a way, but no phone the first hour of waking up. Don't touch your phone. Don't unlock your phone. If you have your alarm set, that's fine, but there is no reason why you should be scrolling on your phone when you're waking up. If you go on your phone, first of all, that's literally the first thing you do. You're going on your phone, which is an immediate fake dopamine rush. Hello? Like, that's horrible. Have you ever noticed how if you go on your phone first thing in the morning, you're like glued to your phone the rest of the day? Yeah. Second thing is that it's exposing you to artificial blue light first thing when you open your eyes, which is also really bad. I think it can dysregulate your nervous system as well. It's just really bad. That's rule number 1 or step number 1. Second one, these are all going to sound easy until y'all try them. I'm just saying. Second one is when you are eating, just eat. I know you guys are like, this is so stupid. Like, trust me, don't knock it till you try it. When you're eating, literally just eat. No scrolling, no watching shows, no watching YouTube, no listening to podcasts, no reading, because a lot of y'all are going to try to sneak that in like, oh, I'm reading, I'm not on my phone. No reading. Don't even read the cereal box, girl. Don't do it. Anything that involves stimulating your brain, don't do it when you eat. Like, when you eat, just eat. I'm telling you guys, I was like, this is so silly. This is going to be so easy. Girl, the first time I did it, I was like, where's the cereal box? You'll notice yourself, you're going to find yourself looking for something to do because your brain is like, I'm not getting stimulated when I'm eating. This is how I realized how bad it was and how I needed to make an episode about this, because if I was feeling that way, oh my gosh, no. So when you eat, just eat the food. And you'll realize too that your food noise will decrease. You're not going to be as quote unquote peckish throughout the day because you're actually sitting down and enjoying your food and being conscious of eating it. A lot of times we wonder why we're feeling so snacky or we need a sweet treat after we eat our lunch. And it's not because you actually need it or because you even want it, but because you literally weren't even acknowledging the food that you were eating for lunch. So you were like, I guess let me try to have something else, because you were literally scrolling, releasing fake dopamine in your brain when your body was trying to enjoy the food and actually have real dopamine. But they can't happen at the same time. It's either one or the other. Okay? So if you're on this while you're eating, you're not going to be able to enjoy your food or your meal. Okay? Next one. This is going to be a little different for everyone. This is what I do for me. Y'all can adjust this to your own preference in a way, but I'll give you guys some suggestions as well. So for me, my rule is that I only go on social media when it's needed. Like if I'm posting something, if I need to engage, if I am like trying to find inspo or a sound or something, or like responding to comments or responding to a DM, I try to like consolidate it all into one. So I'm not like 30 minutes posting and then I go off and then I'm like, oh, I gotta respond to the DM. And then I'm trying to consolidate it more into like, if I post, I respond to the DMs, I do this, and this. So I'm not doing that thing of going on social media and then exiting out and then going back on it 5 minutes later. Like we're really trying to cut that out. For those that don't really do content creation and you're just using your phone, like going on social media to scroll, I would limit it to maybe an hour or an hour and a half a day for both apps. There's no need, I'm not trying to come for y'all, but there is no need for you to be scrolling for pleasure more than an hour and a half. Come on. Let's be so real. And a lot of y'all, here's the thing, here's the tea. A lot of y'all will be so quick to complain about, oh, I just don't have enough time in my day to start the business, or I just don't have enough time in the day to go to the gym, or I just don't have enough time in the day to meal prep and stuff. Show me the screen time on your phone. Literally show me the screen time on your phone and tell me that you don't have enough time. Of course, like our phones are a blessing in a way. Like it's so cool how we can go on social media and interact and all this stuff. But again, like your phone, it's either going to be something that helps you or hurts you. So yeah, like enjoy scrolling, interact with people. Like I laugh, girl, I be cracking up sometimes when I scroll for fun. But there's no need for you to be doing it longer than an hour and a half. Essentially what this is doing, we're trying to stop the mindless scrolling. If you're at work, why are you checking your phone every 10 minutes? Like, why are you mindlessly scrolling while you're doing X, Y, and Z? You don't need to do that. And then you wonder why you're addicted to your phone. Anyways, so that's rule number 3. Rule number 4, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, this one was really hard. When I started doing it, I was like, yo, it's always the ones that you don't think are gonna be hard that you're really like, I beg your pardon. So the next one is no phone, no scrolling. Don't get on your phone when you are at a stoplight in traffic or just sitting in traffic. I know these sound so simple and you're just like, Hannah, be so for real. But try it. Literally try it. You do not realize how quick you are to grab your phone when you're just sitting at a light in traffic. You're like, oh, like, let me just check this one thing. Or even like responding to people. Don't do it. You know, like just drive. And I just want to mention this because this happens when you're essentially breaking a habit or doing something that your flesh does not like. I mean, your flesh in a way of like carnality. Your flesh is going to try to reason and make up excuses in a way of why you should do something. And a lot of the excuses and reasoning is going to be valid. It's like when you do, I don't know if you guys ever have, but if you do a fast, whether for spiritual reasons or just even like health reasons, you know that when you stop eating, you know, it's fine. Day 1, you're fine. Day 2, you start to be like, I can eat an hour earlier than when I'm supposed to break my fast. I don't need to do the whole thing. Or especially if you're doing like a spiritual fast of no food, girl, the flesh be screaming for real. You try to validate certain things. It's just insane. I don't want to get too much into it, but essentially this is a fast in a way. Like you're literally breaking habits and fasting from being addicted to your phone. So you are going to try to come up with reasons as to why you should be on your phone at the stoplight. Oh, I have to respond to my sister. Oh, I have to respond to this person. Oh, I have to check my email to see if they got back to me. Oh, I have to send an email to this person. It's going to seem valid because you're going to be like, oh no, I'm going to forget. You're not going to forget. The reason why you probably forget a lot of things is because you're on your phone all the time and you never let yourself think. Remember how we talked about that? Yeah. So no phone at stoplights in the car. Nada. None of it. This one, you guys, I still recommend it, but just, I don't know. I think y'all should do all of this and see how well you do. I'm telling you, the mental noise is going to be turned down to zero. The overwhelm, the anxiety, the stress, it's all going to be turned down to zero if you do this like to the T. The next one is no music or very minimal music. Do what you think is best, but I always think the less, the better. So if you listen to any music, let it be like jazz or instrumental, or just be mindful of when you listen to music. So if you're driving home or getting in the car from a busy day, you just worked 8 hours, or you just did like you haven't really had time to yourself or time to think, you probably shouldn't listen to music. Let your brain kind of like chill out. But if you, I don't know, like, because music can be beneficial, just be mindful of the type that you listen to. Like if you are playing Future and all this stuff, then you wonder why you're all mad and angry and irritable all the time. Just be mindful. I was doing just straight up like jazz and instrumental, and even like during my workouts I would listen to it's kind of funny, but it actually is like great. I highly recommend instrumental soaking music, like worship music, but it's just like I know that sounds, y'all are probably gonna make fun of me for that one, but it's great because you still can have like something, but just don't go crazy with the music, you guys. Next thing, this has less to do with your phone. These are kind of more just like dopamine detox in general, because you're gonna find yourself when you stop using your phone, you're gonna try to use other outlets to get fake dopamine. So we're cutting it all off. Cold turkey. The next thing is only shop/buy when or if your to-do tasks are completed. Like no perusing midday, no like, oh, I'm gonna have a day of shopping. I mean, you can, but have you done everything that you've wanted to do in the week? Have you completed every task that you have set an intention to complete for that week? Because I caught myself sometimes, I don't anymore, but I would be online shopping, even if I didn't buy anything, I would be online shopping at like 12:30 and I still hadn't even done anything productive. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So yeah, no shopping or buying unless, you know, you've done everything that you need to do for the day or for the week or for what have you. And also just limit your shopping and buying. I always say the 24 add to cart rule is great, or even the 48. Add it to your cart. If you still want it 48 hours later and you can afford it, hello, then buy it. But don't, y'all, consumerism, I should make a whole other episode on that, honestly. I mean, this is consumerism in a way, but we need to chill out with the buying of things for real. Next thing is that you're going to eat an 80-20 whole foods focused diet for the next 30 days. And what I mean by this especially is that you're going to minimize sweet treats even if they're healthy. Not saying that you can't enjoy a sweet treat every now and then, but like y'all don't be needing more than one sweet treat a day. And I'm honestly talking to myself for this because even if it's healthy, I'll eat lunch and then I'm like, oh, I'll just have a mini yogurt bowl. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, you don't need that. So 80-20 whole foods diet, that means 80% like good, healthy. And then the 20 like still healthier, but like maybe that could be like your sweet treat or something. Next one, we're almost done, you guys. This one's good. This isn't really necessarily for the detox, but this is just bringing a mindfulness into doing this. And honestly, I kind of just put this in here for myself because yeah, but drink a glass of water before you snack. If you're going throughout the day, because honestly, you guys, with doing this, you're probably, like I said, you're gonna look for dopamine in other outlets. And one of those for a lot of people is snacking, like mindless eating. So that's why I put that in there. If you feel the urge to snack or you're like, I'm not going on my phone, I kind of want to eat something because I'm bored, drink a glass of water. I can't tell you the amount of times where I have thought that I was hungry and then I drink water and I'm like, oh, I'm good, never mind. So that's the next one. Okay, we got 3 more and then we're done. The next one is to prioritize walking outside. They have done studies, I believe in Japan, and there's a certain word for it. I just can't remember it at the moment, but basically if you walk 15 minutes outside, like not on your phone, not listening to music, not on a podcast, it is so beneficial for your health by a really big percentage. Just 15 minutes a day. I wish I remembered the name for it, but I don't. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is go touch some freaking grass. You don't need to listen to music when you're on your walk. You don't need to listen to a podcast, etc., etc. Just walk in nature, walk outside, look at the trees, watch life go by, ponder your thoughts, touch grass for real, and just go on a walk. there's so many times where I'll feel mad, overwhelmed throughout the day, and I'm like, oh, there's just so much to do, and I don't know, I just feel really overwhelmed. And then I go on like a 10 to 15 minute walk outside, just looking at the trees and stuff, and I'm a completely different person. It's quite insane in the best way. Second to last one is to replace all of the fake dopamine that your brain has been loving and addicted to the past decade. We're going to shift the focus on challenging our brain and actually learning new skills. So it can be learning a new skill. It can be learning a new language. You could even do stuff like playing Sudoku, however y'all want to say it, or like word games. Some people love Wordle. They're about that. You could do that. Reading as well. Reading is really good for you guys. I need to get better at reading as well. I mean, I read my Bible a lot, but yeah, anyways. Or you can even do stuff like if there has been something you've been wanting to start, like I was going to say content creation, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose. You want to start a business, or you want to start a podcast, or you want to start like a run club or a Bible study group, or something that's bringing people together. Create something new. Try to let your creativity flow. Drawing is another one. Taking a pottery class. I don't know. Do something creative that is actually going to bring your body peace and your mind peace, and that you're actually going to enjoy. And then last, but certainly not least, because this is actually life-changing. I'm not even trying to be dramatic. This one, literally, I don't do it all the time, but I'm working on it, because every time I do, I'm like, wow, I should really do this all the time. And that is brain dump / journal before you quote unquote learn or intake more information, or you do more of something. Does that make sense? So like if you have been on your phone all day, or like you're just feeling overwhelmed and you're just like, oh my gosh, there's just so many thoughts up here. What do I do? Put it on paper before you intake more information. Because a lot of times I'll listen to a podcast and then I try to do content creation and then I just feel overwhelmed, and it's like I just listened to a podcast and I never even gave myself time to process the information that I just intook. You know what I'm saying? So if there's an input, there has to be an output. And the output is to write it on paper. Do a brain dump. It doesn't have to be cute. Just write it out, and I swear it's so good. Oh, and that's what I wrote. Create an output before you consume an input. Another example of this, or something that you could also do, is every morning brain dump or journal the things that you want to get done for the day. And then at night, do the same thing. So like, first of all, reflect on your day. How did this day go? What did I get done? What did I not do? What am I proud of? What do I feel like I could do better on? Stuff like that. Let's bring self-reflection back into our daily routines. Can I get an amen? And I'm not saying this because I do it, but because I want to do it, and it actually is very beneficial and helpful when I do it. So let's bring self-reflection back into our routine, because there are times, y'all, where I won't be able to fall asleep even if I'm so tired. I'll literally be like, oh, I'm exhausted. And I won't be able to fall asleep because I have not written things out or outputted things from inputting stuff all freaking day. No wonder you're not going to be able to fall asleep, because your brain is literally like, it's a blessing to have a creative brain, but you definitely need to learn the proper outlets and the proper tips and tricks to keep your brain at a creative capacity in a healthy way. That's all I got for the dopamine detox. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that you guys feel convicted in a healthy way. I pray that you actually do this and that you do it for the 30 days, because it will change your life in the best way. No one wants to be addicted to their phone, but a lot of people don't want to do what it takes to break the addiction. I mean, if we're being straight up, it's literally comparable to substance abuse, like we said. A lot of people don't want to break their addiction. Hello? But just know that this is probably the most beneficial thing you could do. That's really all I got. Again, I hope it was helpful, and I can't wait to hear all the reports back. And I'm going to be doing it with you guys. I've been doing it sporadically, but I really want to lock in for 30 days and just completely cut it off and see how much better I feel. The first couple days will be hard, but then also it'll be very motivating, because you'll realize how clear your thoughts will be and how calm everything will be. You're not going to be as stressed or irritated or anxious or overwhelmed. It's literally going to go away, all because you're not being addicted to your phone. But that's all I got for episode 2. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Check out all the links down below. I'll make a post as well on Instagram so you guys can have a screenshot of everything, and so you can follow it to the T. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. But yeah, I pray that you guys have an amazing rest of your week, amazing rest of your day. Do something today that your future self would be proud of you doing today. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and we'll talk soon. Bye.